Hello, whether I'm audible?
Morning.
Good morning, sir. You're audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now we are having 84 students. I'll wait for 1 more minute. So once again, good morning. Whether the screen is visible? The PowerPoint slides are displaying.
Not yet, sir.
Shall anyone unmute and tell me?
No, sir,
No,
it's not
sir.
visible.
Okay. Now?
No, sir.
Now whether you can see the slides?
No, sir. No, sir.
Till now.
Not visible, sir.
Now also it is not displaying.
No, sir.
No, sir.
I don't know what is the reason. How about now?
Not yet, sir.
No, sir.
Raja,
Yes, sir.
sir, whether it is visible for you, the PowerPoint slides?
No, sir. No, sir. We could not see your screen, sir.
So then I don't know what is the reason. Okay, I will leave and join.
Okay, fine, sir. Now it's visible, sir.
Okay. Okay, now I think whether you can see these slides, everyone?
Yes, sir, we can see.
Yes, sir.
Okay, yesterday I just stopped here. Okay, so that means what? If you want to just develop a software, okay, so for a particular customer, and the customer is telling about their requirements for their particular company or organization or business entities, okay, and they are saying the requirements to the project manager or business consultant, okay. So ultimately, this is the particular thing what the customer is informing the concerned authorities. So that means whatever they are saying, the project manager or the business consultant could understand. Okay, but what they didn't understand is, okay, so whatever the customer said to the particular people, organization people, is not really what they had meant. So this is the problem. So what you can able to understand from this kind of proverb or this kind of statement? I am asking you, all the students. So the customer is asking the particular team, project team or manager or consultant. Okay. So what you don't understand is what I said is not what I meant. This is the statement given by the customer. So from this, what you can infer? What you can able to understand? Shall anyone tell me? This is where I stopped. Yeah, someone, please.
So probably he's not able to express the requirements in a way in words or something.
So normally, or customer to express the requirements as per the company's norms or as per the project manager's willingness. Is it possible? See, suppose you are the project manager, or you are being in the team of a particular project. So a customer, you are contacting a customer. Or else a customer is approaching you. So the customer, you are asking the customer about the requirements, what has to be done, how it has to be built, everything you are asking. The customer is expressing it. but he, whatever he thinks, okay, he could not able to express it means whether it is a problem of the customer or the problem of the team or the project manager.
Customer's problem.
Yeah. So ultimately, you are putting the blame on the customer, and whether you can get the projects from the customer thereafter.
No.
That you have to think about. See, even though the customer could not express, yes, whatever you had thought about this question is correct. So the customer could not express means it is the problem of the customer. Like that, you can simply say and go. But that is not the correct way of doing the software development process. Okay. So even though the problem is with the customer side, it is the responsibility of the team or the project manager or the business consultant to extract what is the requirement, what is the exact need of the customer. So the way how you are planning for collecting the data from the customer or the requirement from the customer is important. So how you are going to plan, in what way you are going to do it, what is the methodology. Okay, so this is what we have to now talk, we are going to discuss. Okay, let us see what is the requirements of the teacher. See, there is a programming exam for the second year students. The question is all about the string concatenation. So I think you would have done this in C or C++ or any other language. So one student works on but gets the runtime error. Okay, so you also know about what is runtime error. That means your program is not showing any syntax or semantics error. During the runtime, it is having some problem, and that is the error that has been shown. Okay, so the output is something like this, what you can see here, where the string 1 is ABC, string 2 is XYZ, and you are getting the output as segmentation fault. Okay, so I think many of you had experienced this in your C or C++ while using the arrays or structures or some kind of queues or like that. Okay, so normally using arrays or allocating the memory space, during the allocation of the memory space, you would have faced this kind of problem, correct? Have you faced this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So now this is the situation where he could not find out the problem is, because if there is some kind of error that has been displayed, this is the area or this is the problem means immediately you can resolve it. So missing some semicolon or not using some for statement or not ending the loop properly. So this kind of statements, problems or errors will be known directly from the details of the error that can be listed out from the compiler. But for the segmentation fault, most of the time you may be wondering what will be the problem. Okay, so ultimately he could not able to correct it. Now the final thing is what the teacher expect his requirements. The teacher wants the requirements from the student. What is that? The result. So what will be the way the particular student could able to the result, to show the result what the teacher is expecting or what is the requirement of teacher has been shown by the student. Any idea? The time was done. Okay, now the teacher is recurring the result. He wants to evaluate and put the marks. Now what he showed to teacher? Any idea? Could you able to guess whether the particular student could satisfy the requirements or could able to provide the requirements of the teacher? Yeah,
No, sir.
just try to answer. No idea?
Maybe he tried to print the exact
Okay.
answer.
So this is what the student shows. Okay, the string 1 keep put as segmentation, string 2 keep put as fault. Finally, the result is segmentation fault. Whether this is the real answer or smart answer.
Smart answer.
Smart answer.
So now what happens? The teacher will see, okay, segmentation in string 1, segmentation fault. Yeah, ultimate. But the thing is what? Finally, the concatenation of the string was done. The result is shown. The student got the marks. Okay. So this is the way how many of the interaction between the customers and the software organization is happening. Okay. So whatever the requirements of the customer has been fulfilled by the company in a smart way, but not in a realistic. What the customer is expecting is not directly done. Okay. But somehow they are satisfying the customers. Here also the students satisfy the teachers. Okay. But what is the problem here? Whether the real problem is solved? No. Okay. So for that sake only we are going to the next topic, requirements engineering. So if you are thinking about the software development process or software development life cycle, you would have here the first phase is the requirements and analysis. So it is a bridge to design and construction. Before going for constructing a code, writing a code, or before going to design the architecture of the system, you have to think about the requirements. And it is a bridge to the design and construction. Without requirements, you cannot design, you cannot construct. But the software developers, what they are continuously saying is, the requirements is not that much important. It is a waste of time. They are all thinking about developer. As a developer, we are supposed to write a code for some particular module and show the output. That is what they are thinking. So that is the primary task. All others are secondary. Okay, so this is the mindset what normally every software developers or engineers are thinking about, but this is not the reality. In reality, the software developers, okay, so their role is not only to develop that application, write the code, they have to know the requirements properly from the customer. Unless otherwise, if the requirements is not gathered, you cannot develop your code in a right way. Okay, so ultimately the customer will not be satisfied. Even though you are strong in programming skills, you know all types of programming languages very well. So kindly think about this mindset. Okay, if you are sophisticated in programming skill, don't think that you are an expert. So if you are really a software expert, you should know about the requirements of the customer. You should know about the design. Okay. So high level design, low level design, everything you should know. You should know about the testing. You should know about the maintenance and support. If you are having the expertise in all these domain areas, then only you are considered to be an expert in software. Then only you are considered to be a full-fledged software engineer. So we have to consider this. Whether I am audible to you?
Yes,
No,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. Now, now I think it is audible. So there is some poor network signal here. That is the problem. So here we have to analyze this particular requirement engineering activity as a software engineering process. Okay. So if you are thinking about a software engineering course,
Excuse me, sir.
definitely requirement engineering is also important. Okay. So and it all begins
Hello,
during
sir.
the communication activity and then it will continue to modeling activity. Yeah.
Sir, the screen.
Hello. Yeah, please.
So we are able to see only black
Someone had
screen.
interrupted. What is the thing?
Yes, sir. Now the screen is fine.
Still not audible?
No, sir.
No,
The
sir,
screen
everything is
was.
fine, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Fine.
right.
Everything is fine,
I
sir.
don't. Okay, fine. See here, the particular. Yeah. Here the network signal is poor. I don't know what is the reason. So because of that, some kind of interruption is happening. Okay. So now shall I continue? No problem.
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yeah. Okay. So if you had looked into this process model earlier, okay, in all of the process, if you are following the spiral model, or if you are having the prototype model, or if you are having the RAD model, in all this particular modeling, you would have seen different phases like communication, planning, designing, okay. So all these are considered to be an important activity of these process models. Let me take this spiral model alone. Okay. So in the spiral model also, you can see this particular communication is an important process or activity, followed by planning, followed by modeling, then construction, finally deployment. So in all these models, you would have seen all these kind of activities or processes. So the requirement engineering starts at the communication stage. If you are going along with communication with between the team or between the project manager and the team or between the project manager and the customer, so there itself we are starting the requirement engineering task. And also it is not ending up there. After finishing the communication, if you are going for planning, there also requirement engineering plays a major role. Similarly, if you are going for modeling, there also we are making use of these requirement engineering tasks. So that is what we are seeing here. Engineering is a software engineering action that begins during the communication activity and continues into the modeling activity. So at least until modeling activity, you should have this engineering to be done. Then for construction and deployment, we shall just consider it as, but to start with, you have to go along with communication, followed by planning until modeling activity. So in all these stages, or in all these activities, requirement engineering is there. Okay. So the next slide, what I'm talking about is what we are going to do with the requirement engineering. Okay. So whether it is that much important, yes, should adapt its approach to requirement engineering. And they have to understand the requirements before the team attempts to solve it. That means what is interesting. Okay, so this software team has to adapt its approach to the requirement engineering, and it is very important for the software team to have understand about the requirements of the problem before going to solve it. And also there should be some kind of bridge between this requirement engineering and the rest of the task. Okay, so where does this bridge originate? That is the question that we have to talk about. So we have to allow the software to examine the context of software. So how the particular software is going to work? What is the context of the software? That has to be find out first. So the software team should not just develop a module just like that. So for example, even if you are developing an application, okay, based on the experiment given or assigned to you for payroll system or ticket reservation system, what is the context of the software where we are going to use it? If I am saying payroll system means to whom you are developing this payroll, whether you are developing for an educational institution or whether you are developing for an organization or like a production organization, or you are developing this payroll system for what we can say some departmental store. So it varies. Even though the concept of the payroll system is to find out the salary, to calculate the salary, but still the context is different. So that has to be examined first. Okay. So for whom we are going to develop, so who is going to use it? Okay. So how to design it, how to construct it, what is the time duration that we have to take it? Okay, so like that there are various information, functions, behaviors. Okay, so with respect to this particular software, what you are going to develop has to be analyzed. So how you know all these details? How you know about the functions? How you know about the behavior of the system or information? How you know about the time? Okay, so all this has been interconnected. So if you are talking about the requirement engineering means, you should also think about the design, you should also think about the construction. So for the design also, what we have to do, we have to just think about how to add some components or how to remove some components in your design architecture. So again, you have to communicate with the customer to collect the data requirement or functional requirement like that. And also there are some two kind of requirements. One is functional and non-functional. So this also you have to just think about before design and construction. You have to analyze all this fact. Okay. So this design should address this kind of problem. This construction will produce this kind of result. So how, what is the priority? Priority in the sense means work, in the sense means what particular component has to develop first, what has to be considered next, what is the order, what is the sequence. So everything has been depending upon this requirements engineering. So based on this kind of general questions or general analysis, we can able to just accomplish this requirement engineering process through 7 distinct functions. Yeah, I don't know. My network is always going poor here at present. Okay, so it will be like this only. So now, ultimately, what we can say is requirements cannot be observed or asked for from the users or the customers. So that's what I told you. Customers may not express their requirements properly. You cannot ask it directly from them, but it has to be created together with all the stakeholders. You have to create that requirements from the customers. Even though the customer is not saying it explicitly, you have to make them understand about their particular requirements for their application, and you have to sit together with them and create the requirements. Okay, so this is what actually we have to do. Okay, and this is the term provided by Vesha Torvinen, University of Turku. Now, I am moving on to the 7 distinct functions of the requirement engineering, starting with the inception. So, inception means what? Starting. So, how you will start to go along with this requirement engineering task? Simple conversation. Okay, just speak, just communicate. Okay, so if your business need is identified, or if there is any potential new market or service that has been discovered, you have to first converse, you have to communicate, and you have to ask some set of questions. And these questions are not considered to be a specific question. Specific question in the sense means not related to the software what you are going to develop. It may be something like context free. Okay, so that means why you are asking these questions. Sometimes the customer could not able to express in terms of the requirements technically. So for this situation, you have to ask this kind of context free question. So here are the questions what you can also think about it. Who is behind the request for this work? Who will use the solution? Okay, what is the economic benefit like that? Is there another source for the solution that is needed? So this kind of context free questions with the customer make you understand what exactly the customer is expecting. So the intent is what? Some basic understanding of the problem. Okay, who actually wants the solution? What is the nature of the solution? And also the effectiveness of the communication and collaboration between the customer and developer. So based on this context-free question only, you can able to collect the data from the customer technically. Okay, otherwise they may not know how to express. Okay, so this is all what we are doing in the inception phase. Followed by that, there is next task, elicitation. So after initiating the conversation, the next question what we have to think about is what exactly has to be accomplished. What are all the objectives for the system? Okay, so how the system can be used in a regular activity. So it is looking like very simple to ask these questions, but it is very hard really. Why it is very hard means the customer may not understand the scope and objective properly. Okay, so the problems of scope is there. Customer will say, I want this and that like that. Okay, but whether in reality, whether you can able to develop that application, whatever the customer is asking, okay, the scope may be constrained. Okay, you cannot able to just extend the scope beyond a limit, particular limit. So this is the problem. So even the customer is saying something, practically if it is not possible, you should able to convince the customer. That will come next. Okay, that is the next task. But otherwise, okay, so the scope of the particular application may not be properly defined by the customer. So there is a problem. Okay, so because of this reason, you cannot elicitate the requirement properly. So the problem of understanding. So how the customer is expressing, how you are understanding. So both may not be synchronized. And the problems of volatility. Volatility means what? Today the customer will say one requirement. After 15 days, he will just express some other requirement. Then you will be just wondering why the customer is changing. Yeah, it is all about the way how the customer grab about that application from elsewhere. Okay, so based on that, the customer may be keeping on changing their requirements. That is also a problem which you have to face. Then, but you have to do all this process. Okay, so what you have to do? You have to elucidate the requirement based on these problems. Okay, so if you could able to illustrate based on the problems of scope, understanding and volatility, then you can able to go to the next phase, that is the elaboration. Once if you understand the requirements, once if you extract the requirements from the customer, then only you are moving on to the technical model. Okay, so what is the technical model? How many functions or modules are needed for this application? What are all the features that has to be considered? What are all the constraints that has to be invoked? So this is where we are talking about the analysis part. Okay, so that means what? We are having the requirements and analysis phase. So in a software development life cycle, if you are talking about requirements, definitely you are talking about the analysis also. So the modeling of the particular requirements has been framed in the form of analysis modeling. Okay, so it is nothing but a number of modeling and refinement tasks. So this analysis model has to be built. For building an analysis model, you should know about some of the term like use case, user scenarios, okay, classes, attributes, okay, all these collaboration, sequence, relationship, all these are some technical terms that has been used for building an analysis model. Okay, so this analysis model will be built at this phase. So elaboration is driven by the creation refinement of user scenarios. Okay, so the user scenario means what? Who is actually going to interact with the system? So the payroll system is for a particular customer or a company XYZ Limited. But who is going to use that particular payroll system? Some clerical cadre person is going to use. Some accountant person has to use. So whether they are having that expertise in using this system, that you have to think about. So that who are all the users, end users of the system. Okay, so that has to be defined by means of user scenarios. Only user scenarios will define, okay, who is going to use that system. And this user scenario has been parsed to extract analysis classes. So how will you build this or consider this user scenario? You have to parse to extract the analysis classes. So what is the analysis classes? It is the business domain entities that are visible to the end user. What the end user is seeing before the system with respect to the payroll system or with respect to the ticket reservation system. Suppose you just think about a train ticket booking using IRCTC website. So you are the end user. You are going to open that IRCTC website. Okay, so immediately what you will just look into, before going to login, you will try to look from where you are going to which location you are reaching. So that means what? You want to see the trains between the source and destination. So immediately after opening this particular IRCTC website, you are seeing this particular page from to, from which location to which location, source and destination. Okay, followed by the train details. And again, the train details will have the particular list of trains that is available along with the classes, that means reservation classes. Okay, so sleeper coach or AC coach or second sitting, like that, and the availability of seats and availability of timings. This is what the end user, as an end user, you are looking into. So if you are looking into this kind of details, the classes, the business domain entities has to be planned. Okay, that means the analysis classes has to be planned in the design phase. So what the particular user is looking into the system. He is looking the source and destination. So we have to create a class, analysis class, okay, between the source and destination. How many trains are there? Okay, so how many classes are there? That means reservation classes. So the number of seats that are available, the timings that is available. So all these are has to be planned in the analysis. Okay, so that is what I am talking about analysis class. Okay, so this analysis classes has some attributes. So you had done some kind of database management system in the last semester. You had created some kind of diagrams like ER diagrams, entity relationship diagram. Okay, so what is this entity relationship diagram? Any idea? Shall anyone tell me?
So it basically defines the structure of a database, sir, like how each entity is related to the one and
Very good, very good. So here you are just trying to mean it as to for effective database management, you are just creating the relationship and entities. And what exactly entity means?
any real world object with attributes.
Yeah, that's what we are doing here. So that you had created the ER diagram for the database direct. But here what you are doing, you are developing this particular same logic for the software development as a whole. It is not only the database management, you are talking about the front end design, you are talking about the other packages that has to be integrated. So like that you are just thinking about a whole system. For the whole system, the same logic, whatever you have done in the form of a ER diagram, here you are developing in the form of class diagram. Okay, so that is what in this class we are having some attributes. We are having some kind of functionalities finished. So that is what we have to define. So and attributes of each analysis class are defined and the services are identified. So you should know what are all the attributes. You should know what are all the services. Services means what? Functionalities, functions. So this is what you have to plan it properly. That can be done at this phase only. So how many particular attributes, how many classes first you have to define. Okay, so one class we can say source class, another class we can say destination class. What is the relation between the source and destination class? From where to where the passenger has to go. So what are the attributes for the source class? Okay, so for the particular place, what trains are available? Okay, so that we have to find out in the source class. So the attribute represents a train number, train name. All these are available in both source class as well as in the destination class. So this is what you are talking about, the analysis class, which you have to define it along with the attributes and the services. Okay, so this is what we are doing in the elaboration phase. Followed by this, you also going along with kind of relationship and collaboration between classes. This also you have done in your ER diagram. Okay, so in your ER diagram, what you are doing after drawing the diagram, you are creating some kind of relationship, one to one, one to many, many to one, many to many. Okay, so here also the same thing. Once if you define the source class and destination class with the train numbers available from the source to destination, what you have to do? Okay, so what is the relationship between these two classes? Okay, so at what time the train will start at the source and at what time it will reach the destination. So once if you know the start time, then only you can able to relate it with the destination time, reaching time. So you should know the arrival, you should know the departure. So the arrival and departure is considered to be some kind of relationship attribute between these two classes and also collaborations. So collaborations means what? Ultimately what you are collaborating with some other class. What is the some other class? Just a passenger is making a reservation between the source and destination. So passenger is a separate class. There we are maintaining the passenger name, age, age. I think you know. So based on the age, the senior citizenship or some kind of concession in the tickets. Okay. So if the age is below 10 years, the ticket need not want to be taken. So like that, you are having a passenger class. Now you have to collaborate that class with this class. Okay. So this has to be identified. So ultimately, the end result is what? You are creating an analysis model which defines the informational, functional, and behavioral domain of the problem. Okay, so this is what we are doing with the elaboration. Followed by elaboration, I will take some couple of times because due to the network issue, in between there are some delays. So I'll be taking these two also. We are having the negotiation. Already I mentioned. Okay, so that customer will say anything about their particular application that has to be developed. So he can provide some kind of requirements which is not at all possible. Okay, the customer could able to propose conflicting requirements which could not be done. It is just unimaginable. So because due to unawareness or due to the lack of technical knowledge, he can say like that. But it is the responsibility of the requirement engineer to sit with the customer and say, see, these are all in real world, it is not possible. Practically, it is difficult. Or if you want to have all this kind of requirements and features means the time duration to complete the project will take more. Otherwise, the budget and cost will be expandable. So like that, you have to sit with the customer and you have to go along with the negotiation to settle these conflicts. Okay, so these conflicts has to be done based on the priority. So sometimes there may be high priority problems which has to be ranked first, and there may be some low priority which has to be considered negligible. So we have to think about this kind of requirements which are conflicting and the risk associated. Because sometimes if you are accepting the customer requirements abruptly, finally it will create a risk. So you have to identify the risk and you have to think whether it can be manageable. So this kind of identification and analysis of risk is effectively needed if the customer is saying some kind of requirements that are conflicting. So that means what? Once if the requirement is collected, you have to rank these requirements based on the risk and also based on the priority. Okay. So then comes another thing, rough guesstimates. Guesstimates means what? Just guessing the estimate. Okay. So that means based on guessing and based on calculation. Both are integrated. Sometimes you will be just predicting or guessing like this. Sometimes you are just calculatively expressing the particular terms. For example, the budget to develop that application. If it is costing some 20 lakhs. Okay. So you that particular 20 lakhs, how you are saying to the customer based on guessing as well as some kind of calculation. Sometimes it exceeds the 20 lakhs or it may be within that budget time also. So you should know about this prior. You should be able to negotiate with the customer. Suppose the customer is saying for 20 lakhs, I could not able to afford for this application. So you have to reduce the amount. So what is the minimum amount which you can afford for developing that application? For all these things you have to assess. So this assessing has to be done based on the requirement, what has been collected, okay, based on the delivery time, based on the cost you are putting on this project. Cost in the sense means all type of cost, laptop cost, electrical billing, human resources, okay. So all on the GSTs, everything is tax, whatever taxes that are all applicable, all this you have to put it and you have to provide this to the customer. And if the customer is not having that budget means you have to negotiate. Either the customer has to accept your budget or you have to go along with the customer's budget. So this all happens during the negotiation phase. Then finally, not finally, the next is the specification. So this is what you are going to develop, okay, for your project also. So already this software engineering is a project-based course we mentioned. I will just give the project title shortly, okay, by today, end of the day. So the initial task what you have to do is the software requirement specification. Okay, that is what coming here. Specification is a written document which is having some kind of models, graphical models, some kind of mathematical analysis model, some kind of usage scenarios or prototype. All this information has to be documented. Okay, if it is for large system, it should have many details like graphical model, natural language description and everything. If it is a smaller product, means just simply go along with the user scenario. Okay, so this is an important thing in the requirement engineering activity, which is considered to be specification, which is a written document, also termed as software requirement specification, shortly SRS. So this will be considered to be a manual for everyone, for the design engineer, for the developer, for the tester. Okay, so because this is the foundation for all other activities, for the subsequent activities. So this document will provide the way how the system has to function, how the system has to perform, everything. Okay, so this is an important task which you are also going to do for your applications, what you are going to develop. Okay, so I already took your time due to the network issue. So now I am stopping here. Okay, and regarding the project, I'll be assigning the titles. Have you seen this particular list, project list? Excuse me. Someone shall tell me.
No, sir.
I will check with Rajakumar also. Otherwise, if you had sent the list, kindly let me know. Okay. So based on these project groups, we'll be assigning the titles. And once if it is assigned, then you can kickstart your project. Okay. We will be giving the guidelines also. Okay. So how to start, where to start, and all other related activities. Okay. So anyway, I don't know where this list is available. I don't know. Otherwise, would have forgotten. Okay, I'll check with
Sir, it
Raja
is
sir.
shared in Teams list. Sir.
Our team's
Files
class.
section. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Our
Okay. Okay. Then
class.
I will take a look of it. Then I will assign this title, and I'll be just again posting there itself. I will update there. Okay. So by today night or tomorrow morning, you can just see it. Once if you got the title, then probably tomorrow afternoon, we will discuss about how to start, okay, with the project. Okay, that's all from my side. If there is any doubt